Okay.
I'd like to call to order the meeting on December 4 at 5 p.m. At 5 p.m.
Great. I can do roll call. Commissioner Garrison,
I'm here.
Commissioner Anderly,
Present.
Commissioner Andrews,
Here.
Commissioner Rashtu,
Here.
Commissioner Smith is absent, Commissioner Beatty.
Here. Okay, we need to approve the consent agenda, right? And has everyone had the opportunity to read that, right?
Yes.
For the minutes.
Yeah.
So, do I have a motion?
Oh, a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
And a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. It's passed. Let's see, and then I think you're doing the next. Oh, all in favor, sorry.
Aye. Need a quorum. Can we get an aye? Aye.
Did I it if I seconded it?
Thank you.
I'm going to open the code online so that we can all share it on the screen. Give me 1 second.
Elena, what are they wanting us to change on this, or do they have any specifics?
There's not really any specifics. It was just the idea that you guys can look at this and see, is this still valid? Do you feel like this really represents you? And is this the language that you want to, it's very kind of shop talk. And so are we looking at this language and thinking this makes sense?
You gonna wear those pants? You're wearing those pants.
I can't hear that.
Go right. You need your toenails need to be cut too, if they're not trimmed.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm actually just reviewing some of those things as well. I mean, I think that it all absolutely holds up. My only concern is how do we advocate for our own inclusion within the decision making? Like, how do we get the council to ask for us to do our jobs?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if there's any kind of language that could be included, or, you know, an extra sort of clause or whatever that could say something to that effect. But again, I think that I feel like we should sort of.
So can we go just start going through it? Because I've got a lot of question marks, things written all over my paper, things ripped away, crossed through. And, maybe it has nothing to do with anything, and maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I have questions. So if you want to take us through the first one, advise city officials and staff to advance diversity, equity, inclusion in public processes and decision making. Pretty sure we do that. I think that's mainly the only thing we do, but that's my perspective. I did have a question though. On our last meeting, we had talked about possibly changing the name of our committee. What was the name that you suggested, Nicole? Do you remember?
Better Together.
Better Together. I really like that. So, because I just feel like I think the negativity that we get from some people in this city on the diversity, equity, and inclusion name, just for some reason in our day and age, that can come with some negativity. Not always, but it can. So what do you guys think about renaming it?
I think it would help, because those are some trigger words for a lot of people.
That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking, honestly. I like the name myself because I'm aware of what diversity and equity and inclusion mean. But some people, they don't understand like the difference between equity and equality. They don't understand what inclusion means. So I agree with her. Those are trigger words. I don't know what the name should be. I'm open to anything. I'm just saying, but I do agree that is triggering to people.
Mhm. Michael or Travis?
I agree with the renaming effort. I'm somewhat disappointed that we have to deal with the repercussions of mainstream media portrayal and how that charges all of these different endeavors. But I think that it couldn't hurt. Honestly, I love the sort of banner or slogan of Better Together. I think that, but I do think that we need sort of a more gentle title, essentially.
Yeah, I would agree with pretty much everything that's been said. It's, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And if we can do something to, that is relatively simple, but going to help us get our message across easier, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Mhm.
Mhm. Okay, so do we need to vote on that? Or is that something we just suggest? I mean.
What's the bylaws or laws or whatever it is?
Yeah. So you guys will bring, because this is, the council is the one will be making the final decision. But if you guys want to make a recommendation to council that you change the name of the committee to Better Together, as opposed to the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, you guys can do that. You would need a motion and a second and a vote, but yeah, that's an option. Or you
Okay.
can wait until you get before the council on the joint meeting, either way.
Okay, so anyone want to make a motion?
Ooh, so I just say a motion to change the name.
There you go. Any,
I do need you to say to the committee name to what you want it specifically to be.
Oh, was that exactly what we all agreed upon, or?
Yeah.
Okay. A motion to change the name to Better Together.
and a second?
And a third.
Okay.
And
It
you need
passed.
to
Gotta
vote.
smack the thing.
Oh, a vote. Let's vote. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can we vote?
Small towns, I thought small towns.
So
yes.
everybody say aye.
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 There we go. Unanimous.
Perfect. Okay, so. So is there anything in A that I read that y'all would like changed? Or does that all look good to you?
Hang on, because everything under it is included in it. And I read it, but now that you're asking me. Yeah, that's what we're all doing, yeah.
So, okay, and then we'll move on to B, which is advise the city in development of a strategic plan to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion among Estacadas government and communities. Anyone have any changes to that?
I will say in action that we don't have a strategic plan. We have not developed one. And that's probably something that this would more be when we get to the point where we have the time, energy, and money to develop a plan. You would be an advisory committee on it,
For the city, the
For
city
the
doesn't
city.
have a strategic plan yet.
not related to advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Can we push them?
You can ask them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that takes money, you're saying?
Yeah,
and they
it
don't
takes,
have
it takes
money.
time, energy, and money.
Okay, so number B is not really being done and there's no money for it. Okay, so
So strategic plan.
maybe essentially we could talk to the city council about that and how they, if they want that to stay in there,
Mhm.
what their plan is, because aren't they the ones that did this originally?
Yep, they developed the code.
This is a naive question, but when you say it takes time and money, what kind of money are we talking about?
So it depends on if we bring consultants in. So, it's not gonna be something as involved as the, like, say, the transportation system plan. But we're doing an update to the water master plan right now, and that's $50,000.
What if I could get a consultant for free?
If you could get a consultant for free. I mean, I don't turn down free money, but Yeah.
Okay.
it would still have to be something that the council would want, or you guys can put it in your work plan for next year that you're going to develop that strategic plan, but then it would need to be adopted by the council. So either way, it would be good to get buy-in from the council before we move forward, even if you have a consultant that's willing to do it. And that helps to say, hey, I have a consultant that's willing to do it for free. Can we move forward on this process in our work plan next year and have it adopted by the council?
Mhm.
Is that something where we come up with a plan for the council and then they present it to them?
So, I would say you'd want to have the council involved in the development of this plan, because if they don't have the buy-in, then you developing the plan and presenting it to them, they're not likely to adopt
What
it.
I'm asking is how much of the steering and how much structuring of the, composing the plan and everything is us and how much is the city council? I know that we got to involve them, yeah, but.
Yeah.
But do they do the whole thing and we just sort of give them advice, or do we do the whole thing and they sort of give us advice?
Probably closer to you do most of the work and then they give
Okay.
you advice. I mean,
Okay.
that's how it's been with like the housing strategies and the transportation system plan, is we've had 3 or 4 meetings with them as we move along in each section of the plan where they have given advice and we've all tied that in. And so when we get to the end, they just adopt it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so anyone else with number B?
I was just gonna add, that if Denise, if you have somebody in mind as a consultant, that would be great, I think, to have that sort of sorted out or delineated before we have a chance to sit down with the council in the coming months. And sort of get some of that work done beforehand. I think that'd be a really good move. Just showing the initiative, and also the money saving factor is obviously a huge plus.
Yeah, because I swim in those waters with those fish, so I think I can find a couple.
Well said. Okay, so let's move on to C. Advise city staff and consultants on the creation and an ongoing development of an equity lens for city services and programs. Any changes there? And who's the consultants?
So like we use the equity lens in the TSP. So we gave that to the consultants. They used that when they were developing the updates to the transportation system plan.
My
Okay.
question would be is where can we find like the equity lens, like, is it written out somewhere where we could go and kind of familiarize ourselves with it, since it's a part of, you know, our purpose and what we're supposed to be using to help them?
It should be
decisions.
on the DEIC, they have a page on our website and it should be on there. And if it's not, let me know. We just did a website update and some things, you know, you do a changeover, you run into little hiccups here and there. So if it's missing, let me know, but it should be on that page.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else have any additions or takeaways from number C? Okay, we'll move on to D. Provide input to the city administration on current programs and systems to address diversity, equity, and inclusion issues. I don't feel like we do that, do we? Currently.
I mean, I think that would fall under what we just recently had. We didn't have a quorum, but with the TSP proposal or whatever, when they had presented and the committee was there. And, you know, I think that would be sort of participating with the city and administration in the absence of the council. Is that, you think that's correct, Elena, or is that off base?
I don't see that.
I think that's more like A than it was like D.
Yes.
So I think D is more about programs and systems, and you haven't done that before. And you're welcome to. We would welcome that if you guys have advice. But it really hasn't. And you can combine some of these too, because, you know, as I'm looking at them, you know, what is the difference between A and D is a couple words, really.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
What is program? What is systems? I can understand programs, but what systems would we be?
Well, it's to the city administration, so wouldn't it be the water system, the garbage system, the phone system?
Yeah, it could be systems like our systems, like the water or the sewer, or it could be more like the systems that are in place for things like our feedback loop. You know, the feedback loop is a system. So how are we getting feedback and giving feedback and creating that loop within the community? So that's a system that's in place, and you can give input to. And as it says, city administration, that's going to be staff, not necessarily the council, but on those kind of things that the city does.
Okay, so should we combine D and A and maybe after in public processes, we could add programs and systems to decision making? I don't know. How would we change that?
Yeah, I mean, you could just put public processes, comma, systems, program, or comma, programs, comma, and decision making.
Mhm.
I'm a big proponent of the Oxford comma.
I like it.
Should be a law.
So let's vote on that. So we would be saying where it says in A, equity inclusion in public processes, comma, programs, comma, systems, and decision making. And then we would cross out D. We would not need D. Do we need it to say, well, advise and input is about the same, isn't it? So it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah, provide input.
So public processes, programs. Systems. And decision making. Okay, so can we have a motion to to those changes, right?
You can do it change by change, or you can go through and just
And
make a
just-
motion at the end.
Okay.
So
Okay, let's do that. So we'll move on to E. Recommend short and long-term strategies and practices to correct institutional inequities. Where would this be? Are we talking about schools?
no, because we have no authority over schools.
Oh, right.
So some of the things that, if you look historically, there have been institutional inequities in things like zoning regulations were often created as a way to prevent people from moving into neighborhoods. And there's things like redlining and there's a lot, if you look at the history of, especially when you're talking about government institutions, there have been a lot of programs and things that have created inequities because of the way they were created. And so it's a lot of looking, it's the way that we're doing it now, perpetuating these institutional inequities that were created historically.
So I guess my question would be, can we word that in a more easily understood way? Because I didn't know what institutional meant. And I think I'm pretty educated, but so if we could maybe, how would you guys suggest to change that?
Recommend short and long-term strategies and practices to correct inequities in city government.
Did you all hear that?
So.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty well, very well said. Any other suggestions? Okay, we are moving on. To F. Seek regular feedback from staff, officials, and community members to inform decision-making and highlight opportunities for improvement.
That's what our survey just did.
Yep, I really think we are doing that. But is this clear enough? You guys think we need to change anything in F?
Pretty clear. There's no big words on there.
Okay. Okay, so we'll move to membership. Something that was confusing to me, and maybe it's just me, but do we have to keep the wording under membership talking about the initial 4 members? Is that like a law thing that we have to have that wording there?
I don't know.
Because now it's just a
Yeah, because
2-year.
after the initial setup, I don't know that it matters. I think that because that was in there initially, it creates the evidence of the staggered terms. And so I don't know if you want to change that to be something that evidences that staggered terms so that not everybody's rolling over every year.
Yeah, I think it kind of shows people that are thinking about joining what they're in for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you think it's good?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I'm not real.
Well, for me, I was
Political.
thinking new people coming in might say, initially 4 members, why do I need to know that? How long is my term if I apply? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if you replace initially with the words at first, comma, then that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a quick question too about everyone who is a recent appointee is serving a 2-year term? Is that correct? Or are there varying lengths of terms depending on which position you were sort of filling?
So yeah, the position you're filling fills until the end of the term of whoever you were filling. So like Nicole is filling through 2025. I think I just emailed that to you, right? Through, so she's filling through March 2025. It's not going to be a full 2 years because she didn't start at the beginning. So she fills out the remainder of the term for the person who left.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how my term was. I just finished my term in March, but I was only here for like, I don't know, 6 months.
Mhm.
And then I applied again. So, yeah. Okay, so we'll go to number A then. Do we want to change any, do you want to change, Denise, that initially piece that you wanted to, or do you want to just leave it?
Nah, it's not.
Okay, so we'll go to a commitment to equity, social and environmental justice, diversity and inclusion. Do we want to change anything there?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay. I had a problem with the social and environmental justice because I think that's a very big trigger for a lot of people. But if you guys don't have a problem with that, that's okay.
Well, how would you want to word it?
It's talking about what we have to be a member.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess, I don't know, because until just a couple of, I don't know when this all started, but when the social and environmental justice phrase started, whenever that was, I didn't even really know what that meant because I have always seen all people the same. I'm just that kind of a person. I love all, and I include all. So some of this stuff is hard for me because I mean, if it were me, I'd be crossing out diversity, equity, inclusion and saying equality for all because that's what it means to me.
But equality for all is not equity for all.
Well, I was reading about that this afternoon. You're right. There is a difference between equity and equality, which till this afternoon, I really didn't know that. So we can leave that in. That's fine. It's just a trigger for some people. But if we change our name, I think that's going to be a big help. The ability, B is the ability to work collaboratively with people of diverse perspectives and experiences. You like that?
Yeah, you gotta have that to work on this committee.
Yes. Connections with local, historically marginalized and underrepresented communities. D is experience, skills and knowledge in policy development, evaluation, local government, procurement, public participation, research, education, or business, and the ability to represent the demographic diversity of Estacada. I feel like D needs a little bit of
I would say, I don't know why procurement is in there. Because you guys should not be procuring anything. We have
No.
specific policies that we have to follow.
Get a volunteer consultant that's procuring something, right?
Yeah, that kind of, I mean, but there are very specific state laws regarding procurement
Oh,
of
okay,
things.
okay,
And so
okay.
it like, there's a legal term for
Okay, I didn't
procurement.
know that.
Yeah. And so I would say definitely should cut.
Okay.
You might.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I was questioning why we would say experience, skills, and knowledge, because to me, if you have experience in something, you have the skills and knowledge,
Mhm.
usually, not always, but usually. So we cut out skills and knowledge and just have experience in policy development.
Well, you could have knowledge without experience. So say you went to school for an education and you have the knowledge related to policy development because of your education, but you've not actually had any experience in that.
So then cutting out skills and saying experience and knowledge in policy development.
You could,
maybe?
yeah, experience and/or.
Okay, and what is evaluation? I wasn't sure why that would need to be in here either. So if we did experience and or knowledge in policy development, skipped evaluation and said local government, skipped procurement, local government, public participation, research, education, or business. I mean, we do research, so yeah, we
Mhm.
do that.
Yeah.
Definitely we're doing public participation.
Mhm.
Education, what would that mean? Like,
I am assuming because these are characteristics of members. And so when you're saying that somebody has experience or knowledge in
Oh,
education,
okay.
you're maybe a teacher
yeah.
or former retired
Yes.
teacher.
okay, got it. And a business person, the
Mhm.
ability to represent the demographic. Okay. So, any other comments on any of this before we vote for the changes? On E, when we went up to what Denise did here, to correct inequities in city government, should it say in the city of Estacada government, or what should that say?
So I wrote, yeah, we will go up to the purpose. I put in local government.
Okay, so after equities, you
After
put,
inequities. So it reads the way I wrote it now. Recommend short and long-term strategies and practices to correct inequities in local government.
okay, yeah, that's good. Yep. Okay, so are we ready for a vote? I will need a,
Do you want me to read out the changes that you've made so that
Sure.
we're all correct? And then you can just, somebody can say, I move to make those changes.
sure.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So under establishment purpose, we changed it to read, advise city officials and staff to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in public processes, programs, systems, and decision-making. And then removed D entirely.
Mhm.
And then in E, it reads now, recommend short and long-term strategies and practices to correct inequities in local government. And then when we go down under membership, we changed D to read experience and or knowledge in policy development, local government, public participation, research, education, or business, and.
Mhm. And do we need the and there, or can it just be a period?
Because it all reads together like a
Okay.
paragraph. I know it's bullet points, but the way it comes together, it all reads like a paragraph.
Okay,
At the beginning, would you change the committee name?
yeah, up above.
Yeah, so you already voted to change the committee name.
Mhm.
So under establishment purpose, instead of reading diversity, equity, and inclusion committee, it would read better together committee. I'm assuming
Mhm.
it might be commission. I'm not sure what the difference between a committee and a commission is, but
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's good.
okay.
All right, so does someone want to make a motion?
Motion to make changes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Now we need to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
on 3B.
Yep. So now you just, this is kind of a brainstorming for you guys to increase participation in all committees and commissions. I know that we had our survey, we got our survey results back. There's not a whole lot of knowledge about the committees and commissions that are in the city, and we'd love for you guys to come up with ideas to help increase participation
In all committees,
in all committees. Yes.
we can have bacon.
Bacon?
Bacon.
I second that. I do think that what we could do is try and make a little bit more noise around the What's Up events. Because they do showcase a lot of committees and commissions, and maybe try and make them a little bit more sensational or
Mhm.
something, you know what I mean? Maybe I think I know there's a varying time, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening, just to make it a little bit more easy for people to access,
Mhm.
and then serve bacon too.
I think that your survey went over really well, and I think that doing more surveys and building on that is a good plan.
Did we send it in the water bill?
Yes.
It was included, the whole survey wasn't included in the water bill, but a blurb and a QR code and a link was included in the water bill.
So maybe we could have something in the water bill about the next What's Up Estacada.
So we haven't planned another What's Up Estacada. I think it might get back online after we're done with the TSP, but the staff is pretty overwhelmed right now.
Yeah.
However, the renewal period for all committees and commissions is going to start in January. So in January, we'll be asking for applicants for all committees and commissions. So if you guys thought that was a good time to include something in the water bill related to that, that would be a good timing wise.
Would there be any way, excuse me, to get like a blurb or something on the Ring app? Because I know I see like little stuff popping up in my rings all the time about things going on in the community. Or I know we live in Campanella and we have a Campanella Facebook page. And so I believe it's Bettina, the social worker. I believe she lives in Campanella. She's always posting things about what's going on at the schools or, over the summer, what they're going to have planned. So maybe just getting into some of these Facebook groups and just kind of saying, hey, there's a commission here, there's all these other commissions that you could be a part of, or that you could just, come and support.
We staff can't do that, but you guys can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to, like if we post something on like the city's Facebook page, you guys can share that in all the community groups and pages.
I think that's a great idea too, Nicole, just because there are a handful of social media Estacada pages that are not very conducive to community progress. And that's where a lot of things where people try and make an attempt to advertise these things that are involvement related. But if, like I don't live in Campanella, I'm not part of that community. That's a very high density. Also, most of those folks are recent additions to the community. And that's really also another group of folks that I think need to be represented, need to have their voices inserted into the conversation that we can learn from, you know what I mean? So if you can help us with those sort of HOA or, those communities getting in with that, I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah. Do the HOAs send out like a regular newsletter or anything?
No, well, they have,
know ours.
they have really regular meetings, don't they? Like quarterly meetings or like a town hall kind of thing.
I believe they do.
Yeah.
I haven't been to any of ours because ours is like, Campanella's the worst.
Does the city,
Sorry.
does the city plan to make any Facebook posts regarding commissions and committees.
We will do a Facebook post related to when they open up and we're accepting applications
And then
again.
then you guys can wildly
share it.
share that.
Mhm. And I have no idea about the Ring app because this is the first time I've heard of it, but
No,
that,
I know just for Campanella,
Hey.
I don't know about any other subdivisions. All the houses have Rings cameras on them.
yeah,
And so it's like a whole, like, kind of like the Facebook groups. But like people will post like if people stole things or if a dog is missing. And so it's just a good way to get like additional information about what's going on.
And
And if,
also an app called Nextdoor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
And that seems to be real popular.
Yeah, especially with elderly people, because even my mom knows how to use Nextdoor.
Nextdoor,
She'd be like,
yeah.
oh, I saw this on Nextdoor.
Nextdoor does have, they do allow government entities to sign up as an official government entity. So that's an option.
Alrighty. Sounds like some great ideas. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea for us to, maybe in the future, I'm not today, but to have maybe each of us, or, you know, I'm not on social media by choice. And so, I mean, my life is just too full anyway. I don't know how I'd have time, but people who are on social media, like we could have people on the committee, okay, you know, these 3 or 4 people are going to be, this is what they're going to do, right? And have like different focuses where maybe I'll focus on the place up by the Shell station.
Whispering Pines?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean territories.
Yeah, or just maybe, because I'm not on social media, you guys are, that would be your thing, right? And then maybe since I've kind of connected before with Whispering Pines,
Mhm.
maybe go up there, maybe talk to some of the residents, maybe someone else would want to do that.
Yeah.
But that way we'd know, okay,
So what, yeah, what do you guys what are your networks already and things that you can already reach out to your current network? So like if
Right.
you're a member of the Moose Lodge or if you're on the PTO or whatever. Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're in a subdivision, which I am not, but if you're in a subdivision, then you know, you could report on, and then we could like report back
Mhm.
so that we could have more activity.
Yeah.
I feel like we could do more. I don't know, it's just an idea. So, okay, so are we done with B? Any more ideas? Okay, C, January meeting date. That's you, Elena.
Yes. So your regularly scheduled meeting date is New Year's Day. So we're not meeting. I put a few dates here and I am assuming this would be the same bat time at 5 p.m. But if you wanted to pick a different date, or you can entirely skip January, it's up to you guys. I just want to make sure if we're going to have it in January, it's a date where we'll have a quorum.
The 3rd would not work well for me, but
Okay.
I'm open to the 2nd or the 4th. If anyone has a preference, please let us know.
I will be out of town that whole week, so.
Okay.
I don't really have any suggestions.
Is there anything that's come together concrete for the meeting between the city council and DEIC?
No, I'm waiting to see if the TSP passes because that's a long
Okay.
public hearing process.
Can I suggest maybe we skip January and let everybody sort of recover from holidays, let city staff catch up and finalize the things that you were mentioning earlier, and then sort of not stress
Mhm.
the beginning of the year?
Is there something we need to do in January that you can think of, Elena?
So there's a couple things that you might want to do in January that you might want to hold a meeting. One is Valerie did leave, and so you're going to have a new applicant to fill that space. you can always wait and put it off and not fill it in January because her term would have ended in March of 2024 anyways. So that-
Have we received an application or is that just what's coming down the pipe?
you've not received any applications. I just
Okay.
posted it last week, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's coming down the pike. Generally in January is when we start your strategic planning for your next year's project plans.
Yeah, I do think we should meet. I can meet either the 2nd or the 4th if we can have a quorum.
We can look out to the next week. I looked at the week that you guys usually meet. And so if you need to look out, because I know that week is kind of hard with
Mhm.
holidays. So let me look at the meeting room calendar.
Yeah,
So the 8th won't work because that's a council night. So
15.
the 15th would work.
Does the 15th work for you, Nicole?
I'm double checking. It should. Yes, the 15th would work for me.
It works for you too?
Yeah.
Michael or Travis, does the 15th work? 5 PM?
Yep, I am available.
I'm checking it now.
And that is MLK Day, because the city staff will be here.
I don't think that's one of our official holidays.
It is at OHSU, but it
Oh.
hasn't been at other places that
Okay.
I've ever worked.
President's Day.
MLK.
Oh,
Please, let me
yeah.
double check that before I put that
Mhm.
down for sure and read the employee manual because
Yeah.
Okay.
I think my son has that day off school too.
Yeah.
It would be a holiday.
it is one of our holidays. Yeah, the third Monday in January.
Universe is saying we don't need a meeting.
Well, is there another day, the week of the 8th that people could meet? If we did the 8th, the week of the 8th?
I could do the 8th.
I could do the A.
Well, the 8th is the
They
council
can't- the council
meeting.
Yeah, we can't do the 8th.
I can do the 11th.
Would the 11th work for everyone?
Not for me.
Travis, is there a night other than the 8th that week that would work for you?
The 9th would work.
Does the 9th work for you? Denise?
Yeah, I can make it work.
What about you, Nicole?
You said the 9th, right?
That's
Yes, I
Tuesday.
can do the 9th.
Okay, what about you, Michael, for the 9th?
Yep, that works for me.
Okay.
January 9 at 5.
Okie dokie, sounds good.
Good. Do we have anybody online?
There are no attendees.
Okay. So I think we're ready to adjourn unless, oh, do we have to do our,
If you have committee comments, if anybody wants to make a comment, you don't have to.
okay, anybody want to make a comment? All right, we will adjourn at 5:49.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, you guys.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Thank you.